Good evening, Free Enterprise fans. Noya, and joined tonight by Tarasu.
Hey, how's it going?
And we got a lovely weekly for you tonight. I believe the flag set is called the Babysitters Club. Tarasu, would you care to tell us what that means?
So the Babysitters Club means that we're only going to have Rosa, Rydia, Palom, and Porum. An interesting setup indeed.
But not only that, we also have T4 and S3 so whatever we find, if it's not something we can equip, we can just sell that to maybe, get something really good out of the shop.
Most certainly, with that T4 flag, you're going to find a lot of gear, and with this being a pure magic-based party, you're not going to need things like the Excalibur, Crystal Sword, or, any of the heavy armor. You're only going to be looking for things like the Sorcerer Robe and Stardust Rod, etc., etc. And it looks like we're about to be off on this race.
That we are. Now, our restreamed runners tonight are Simbu, Rex Raw, Scratch Dragon, and Moonblaze Wolf. If I'm not wrong, and I'm not. And we're off.
So we're definitely starting with a Rosa tonight, and it looks like we're going to be joined with a Palom.
A Quake Kid and the Best White Mage, and a package from Valvalis.
Valvalis at Beigen spot. That could be interesting. So, in this flag set, we don't have any Forge the Crystal or Giant %. Tonight, we're just looking for the Crystal. The Crystal cannot be at the summon rewards. It's not on the moon bosses. It's somewhere on Earth, and you also need a way to get to Zeromus, along with getting your party leveled up enough to be able to take him out.
Not much of the scavenger hunt is real this seed, but not by much. Well, not by much. I mean, we don't have to go through a whole mess of things that we normally,
It's a little bit more simple than some of the flag sets we've been seeing recently, but still a very interesting one, simply because you're forced to use an all-magic party, and that can be tricky. Now, we see all of our runners are starting out in Baron, get that check on who the character is there and one of the bosses guarding them. On top of that, a lot of free items to be able to hopefully start equipping your party.
And we have Silk Webs, I think, and Hourglass Ones here in Baron. Silk Webs are going to be a definite necessity in this flag set, though.
Silk Webs, what's nice about them is when you use them, it'll stack slow twice onto the enemies you use it on, and it's especially useful in the boss fights. Hourglass Ones are very useful for certain boss fights, such as the Dark Imps or the Kaipo Guards, along with if you need to check some trap chests just to get a little bit of experience. You can use those a lot of times to stop the enemies and be able to get through the fights a little bit easier. So we see now our runners are starting to split up into different directions. Scratch Dragon is choosing to go to Mist, and Simbu is heading straight down into the Antlion Cave after checking the Damsian.
And he picks up a Life Staff and a Sorcerer Robe. Now, I believe the Life Staff is the staff with the highest amount of will attached to it, isn't it?
It is. It is plus 15 will, which is going to be amazing for the Rosa and the Porum if you find them. On top of that, willpower increases the power of course, your white magic, which means they're going to have stronger white spells when they eventually get those, and a better cure spell. You're also going to be looking for things like the bows and arrows so that you have some physical damage, because if I'm not mistaken, all of these mages can equip the bow and arrow.
That they can. And an armor spell and some armor arrows can tear through a lot of things.
On Scratch Dragon's side, we see them peeking the Sand Ruby, and it was Iridia. Meanwhile,
Iridia.
Rex Rawl is heading up Mount Hobbs.
Iridia would not be a bad pickup, especially if you get an early Bahamut. She can plow through a whole bunch of the seed on her own with that.
Bahamut, Leviathan, and even Sylph would be a nice pickup for Rydia. The only drawback to Rydia is, that is a wyvern.
That's a wyvern. The good news is we have Witchburn on, so it's not necessarily going to ruin their day.
Certainly not. Doing Thunder, you saw that was not much damage. Rex Raw finds the Antlion, and it looks like he grabbed a Porum. That's a nice pickup. Another white mage.
More white mages, less problems.
Well, one of the other things is with Rosa, she does not learn Exit naturally. The only way you get the Exit spell is if you complete the Tower of Zot, whereas Porum will learn it through leveling up.
And we got the Darkness Crystal from Wyvern there. So that takes care of the getting to Zeromus. We just need to find the crystal for Simbu.
It also unlocks another character. As you might have noticed, the no free lunch tags are on, so that means no free key items and no free characters.
So this could come down to a Mist Dragon hunt. Which is what everyone is always hoping for when they're watching.
It's always entertaining. We see Rex Rawl now checking the back of Mount Hobbs and looking, of course, for a little bit of gear. Simbu is going into Fabul, and unfortunately, I didn't see where Moonblaze Wolf is.
Moonblaze Wolf is in Antlion Cave, headed to see Wyvern for himself. And we have orbs.
CPU fight with an all magic party is actually very annoying, simply because CPU casts wall on themselves, and you can't use a lot of your spells to get through them. What you'll see them doing is trying to make use of their physical damage to try to get through this fight.
Now, if they had a ready with, say, Self, this wouldn't be a problem because that just goes straight through wall. But with just a Palom and a Rosa, you're at to bonk that orb quite a bit.
Well, the nice thing is, though, this is at Fabul, so the CPU doesn't have a lot of HP, and the attacker node's only going to do 10% of your max HP per attack, and at these low levels, even still, Cure 1's going to heal you up pretty nicely.
So the orb's not going to be that much of an issue. It's just going to be a moment.
It's just time-consuming. Rex Rawl now going down into the Antlion Cave, gonna find their Wyvern and Darkness Crystal eventually.
Scratch Dragon and Simbu are both taking on the orbs.
Moonblaze Wolf now gonna go pick up that Porum on Mount Hobbs, find the Antlion. Of course, you want to fill out your party as quickly as possible, especially with mages who typically need quite a bit more experience to fully come online for the Zeromus fight compared to, a Cecil or a Kane.
Yeah, we probably definitely have reflex strats on the menu for tonight.
That's more than likely we're going to see nothing but reflex strats for Zeromus, but you could still, if you find a good setup with the Artemis bow and samurai arrows or arty arrows, you can certainly get one person berserked, and that'll make things a little bit nicer for the fight, being able to have someone you don't have to control. And if you do pick up Iridia, one of the interesting things about Iridia is when she becomes an adult, she can also equip those Zeus gauntlets, which is a nice strength boost and something that some people don't seem to take advantage of all that often because, well, why would you when you can do summons?
And sometimes people just don't go to Dwarf Castle.
Simbu finishing off CPU and Scratch Dragon right behind him.
And we get, after the orbs just kill a whole bunch of time, we get a Luca key.
If I'm not mistaken, the warp glitch is not on tonight, so...
Only glitch you appear to have on is the life glitch. Rex are all making their way out of the Antlion Cave after taking on Witchburn.
Rexwell now has their Darkness Crystal, so gonna definitely take on Fabul next. You know, you typically want to go from some of these weaker bosses up to the stronger ones because with these mages, they just don't have the HP to survive some of the tougher fights, and you want to get that early experience on them to be able to get through those tougher fights, especially with a Palom who learns Quake very early on.
At level 23 normally. I'm not sure if that's changed because JS being on tonight.
I don't recall it changing for him on Japanese spells. Rex Raw now into their slug of a CPU fight.
The orbs are here.
All right. Simbu picking up some Cure 2s and some Zeus Rages in the item shop for Fabul.
Not a bad choice. Those Zeus Rages, with this low damage we have, without, like Quake or access to other high damage spells, is going to be pretty nice on cutting down some of the time needed to kill some of these early bosses.
Another nice thing with those Zeus Rages is if you happen to run into Kanatsu, it's a good way to break his water before he hits you with that really nasty wave attack. And mages, even if you find Kanatsu in a low HP area, can still wipe out your party pretty easily.
Or, if he feels like popping up at, say, I don't know, Rubicant spot, blocking the way to the underground.
That would just be mean. Let's hope for it.
I am not speaking of recent experience. No. Who would suggest such a thing? We have grimoires here in the shop. And life potions.
Simbu stocking up on a bunch of those life potions. I don't think he picked up the grimoires, which are kind of a gamble item to use.
Most of the time, you just get chocobos.
Or Odin. All right.
Or maybe a very spicy goblin.
Don't remind me of Goblin. Anyways, we see Scratch Dragon taking on the Dark Imps at the Baron Inn, and they're at the first fight, so extremely low HP, and then you saw throw an hourglass, they can't do anything.
Sir, when your party's HP is full.
All right, Simbu grabbing a stack of Sirens, a couple of Gaia drums, and some Cure 3s. Ooh, not so.
We have moon veils. I repeat, we have moon veils. Don't just grab moon veils, though. Get yourself some star veils, because moon veils can, they can ruin your day in some instances.
Well, the nice thing about moon veils, besides the fact that they last longer compared to the star veils, they also give you this amazing dodge stat when you use them. However, sometimes if you reflect them back onto the enemy, you will just never hit them. Scratch Dragon making use of those Zeus Rages and takes down Kanatsu pretty easily. And now is rewarded with Iridia and a spoon.
Well, that spoon can be sold for like 5K. It's a very nice spoon.
Certainly is. You see Rex Rawl and now Moonblaze Wolf getting their Luca key from Fabul, and now going to do their quick looting of that. Simbu is now taking on the Kainatsu fight and puts a Moonveil up on Palom.
Well, good night, Rosa.
I don't think Simbu's really that worried, though. With those Zeus rages, he shouldn't have too much trouble with Kainatsu.
If like 15K a Zeus Rage, no. And because he popped a Moonveil, Kainatsu's never going to hit Palom. He could try, but it's not going to happen.
All right. We see Scratch Dragon heading down into Antlion, gonna run into that Wyvern that is not very scary, and pick up their Darkness Crystal pretty easily.
Going to finish, but going to loot this cave first. I didn't notice it earlier, but we do have a Soul Summon down here.
And we have Iridia. So that Sylph Summon will come in handy, because just ignoring the fact that it heals your party, because of a glitch in the game, the Sylph Summon, as long as you have the MP to cast it, is actually free.
And so you can just spam Sylph to your heart's content. Simbu taking down Kainatsu. Picking himself up Iridia.
I know, Smapey, a glitch in Final Fantasy IV? That's blasphemous.
Oh, Moonblaze Wolf picked up some Grimoires.
Like I said, Grimoires are a big gamble item, but sometimes that gamble heavily pays off when you get like a Bahamut or Leviathan when in desperate times. And now we see Moonblaze Wolf is heading up to Ordeals.
Which, honestly, there's not much else to do from what we've seen. In fact, I believe this is the last key item we have not seen that we can access, so some form of progression must be here.
That or Mist Dragon's behind package.
Ooh, now that would be good.
That would be mean. I love it.
That's a nice ninja sword. Go hang it on your wall.
We will get some information as soon as we have our runners complete Ordeals, and Moonblaze Wolf making use of those sirens to do some of these Lilith fights just to get some extra experience.
He probably wants Quake on his Quake Kid, which I cannot blame him for.
Chat is being very cruel tonight. Remember, Scala did not roll this seed, so the ever elusive missed at CPU. Well, I would still love to see it.
It could have Crystal.
Well, I mean, you also have to keep in mind, we don't have to do the summon bosses, and we don't have to do moon bosses. Mist Dragon could be on the moon or at one of those summon locations. We see Simbu and Moonblaze Wolf both taking on Karate.
That virus doing a whole lot of work.
Virus is a really nice spell, as it's a very quick casting spell and actually has a pretty solid base damage, especially at this point in the game.
I believe it's one of those basically instant cast spells alongside Nuke.
It certainly is. And, you know, while you're trying to get those other spells, Virus Virus lasts a long time for a party, but then again, you're gonna get Quake, and we have a Moon boss, and it's the Nope Noodle.
The Note Noodle, who really does not like being hit with magic.
And it's in the back attack spot, which is just even more fun for the runner.
What a good boss to have here. Berserkine Rose, it appears.
Well, you have a Porum, you have Bluff on Palom, Berserking Rosa just to have those physical attacks going, and then having Porum just kind of focus on the healing while you're bluffing up the Palom, which I think you want to do 3 times, will do a lot of damage to this Ogopogo. Rex Raw going a little bit different route and turning in that Darkness Crystal already.
He may have not had any choice if he had checked Mysidia earlier for Oral Tour shopping.
Moonblaze Wolf making use of Virus with Bluff to quickly take out that Nope Noodle. That's one of the nice things about Palom. Bluff, every time you use it, up to, I believe it's 3, I'm fairly certain it's 3, it will increase his intelligence stat or wisdom stat. I get those mixed up because this game is weird sometimes. And it'll allow you to actually do a lot more damage early on.
And Moonblaze Wolf demonstrated it to great effect there on the Note Noodle, on our Canadian Lake Serpent friend.
Scratch Dragon finishes off their karate. Ooh, a Twin Harp. Get your music hype in, chat.
Oh, please tell me this is what I hope it is. Yes!
Guarded by Fabul Gauntlet. Ugh. Granted, their HP is something like absurdly low, so just a single hit for pretty much any one of their characters will kill everything here. But it's still a gigantic time sink.
It's just... why?
But yes, it looks like we are getting some guaranteed music tonight, so...
The seed giving the fans what they want. As Simbu is having the time of their life with the Note Noodle.
Nope Noodle's one of those bosses you never really want to see him. He's just obnoxious.
I mean, you want to see him or Wyvern at Tower spot.
I like to see him behind package or, you know, not exist at all, but he almost always shows up and trolls the runners in some fashion, eventually in a seed. Moonblaze Wolf on their final fight of the Fabul Gauntlet.
To get out of here and go play us some lovely music. They are finally free.
So
Scratch Dragon has also made their way through Ogopogo.
Scratch Dragon actually caught up pretty nicely to Simbu in that Ogopogo fight. And all Tellas learn Medio wherever they do not exist.
Tell is off yelling at a cloud tonight.
I thought he yelled at Spoony Bards.
He does both.
Well, at least Edward still exists in the seed, even though he doesn't join your party. And he will definitely be providing us some lovely, lovely music. Rex Raw finishes up his K-Not-So fight, finds the spoon, and gets his Rydia.
We have illusions and notices here in Agart. Illusions are one of those, I really like them because it's just like, hey, you need Blink? Here you go.
Illusion's one of those items that is nice to have, especially if you run into some of the more annoying bosses at some of the more annoying spots, such as Mom Bomb.
Mom Bomb at Odin or Mom Bomb at King Queen Evelyn.
I still have nightmares about Mom Bomb at Queen King Evelyn. Followed by CPU.
Mom Bomb. More like Mom Awful. Mom Why.
All right, Moonblaze Wolf is now going into their Baron in fight, getting set up for it. Shouldn't have too much trouble with this. Simbu finishes up their gauntlet fight. I don't think they have any other checks they can make other than the Twin Harp, or if they're feeling bold, you know, do some Demis looks.
No one really did look for Demis earlier. No one checked back a Mist Cave or a Waterfall Cave. Which I've had that burn me in the past, so
Well, at this point in time, it's still really early in the seed, and it doesn't show that, okay, I have to find Mist Dragon right now, because right now, Mist Dragon has a ton of spots that they could be hiding in, and a lot of them are not appealing for this party.
The other thing is that makes it not appealing for this party, going down to check that harp, is just how much magic defense that spot has.
This is certainly an interesting party at a lot of different areas, simply because, you know, some spots are going to have a tough time dealing with that magic damage, and others are, you know, they're just going to do so much damage with your party having very low HP. It's just, you have to play this fairly carefully, otherwise you can wipe pretty easily. At least early on, until Rosa, you know, gets Cure 3 and Porum has Cure 3, and, you know, you just never die, but...
Moonblaze Wolf picking up a spoon and realizing they already had to go play some nice tunes.
Scratch Dragon looting out Troya now, probably immediately going to run over and do that harp music for us. Who needs a knife when you have a spoon?
That spoon will carry us to victory and beyond.
All right, Simbu looks like going to be the first of our runners to go to Twin Harp. Stardust Rod is a lie.
Stardust Rod does not exist.
So another interesting question is, does Simbu have enough iron rings to just completely skip the first part of this annoying fight, or enough power behind his party to just wipe out his party? Does get a cursed ring though, and that could be potentially very useful for this party, especially at some of these more difficult boss spots.
That AU apple is going to come in very handy.
The seed is being a little stingy on the mage gear for the party tonight.
But hey, if you want all this beefy gear, it's there.
Here's the nice thing about this sort of party. You don't have to hold on to a lot of this equipment, as you saw Moonblaze Wolf selling off all the heavy armor and, you know, almost all of the melee weapons.
Someone might keep, say, a Dragon Whip for Rydia.
Dragon Whip would be nice. All right, get your hype and chat for music.
We just skipped immediately past the first phase. Good, good. And what do we have for music?
Gonna be quiet for just a moment.
That's Telltale Heights.
I agree with Smapey. This song is very hype. Scratch Dragon using another strategy, using a coffin on his solo standing Rosa to get past the fight.
And we have... That's a, we have elements down here.
Certainly not the worst thing you could see here, just slightly annoying.
One damage from that Cure 3. I think this is the Rydia show.
Alright, Scratch Dragon now performing their music and about to face their elements, and Moonblaze Wolf having enough iron rings to have his entire party paralyzed. Rex Raw, meanwhile, is just now finding out that they have Twin Harp and gonna run into their gauntlet.
Somebody who got past yonder Rubicant is on to Nazo.
Unfortunately, with this sort of party, you're not going to be able to skip the second half of the elements fight. Not at this point in time. You just don't have the damage.
Lightning 2 does a whole lot of work, though.
Certainly does.
Scratch Dragon healing Mill Z for 1 HP. And we have the hook.
Oh boy. So this just turned into a hook seed, and that could potentially be very difficult for our runners, simply because that King Queen Eblon spot can be very nasty, and don't underestimate that Rubicon spot.
Come on, Mom Bomb.
I would love to see Mom Bomb there. More so because I'm not running the seed, and these runners are obviously better than I am. So DKC could be interesting there, Zilch.
I mean, would we rather Pain Man at Mom Bomb's, not Mom Bomb, King Queen Eblin or Rubicon spot, or on the moon somewhere, like preferably, well, not, actually, no, that wouldn't matter anyway, because if he's on the moon, we're not going to see the fight.
Yeah, the runners would pray he's on the moon because they'll never have to look at him. And thank you, DJ, for the pack of 5 tier 1 subs.
Wowza. Thank you.
All right, Simbu's grabbing that hovercraft. Now the question is Simbu going to go do any grinding before going down there? A lot of times before you do the hook, you'll want to go do some quick grinding. Probably also looks like they're checking to see if they can find Mist Dragon somewhere.
And I just found a Millen fight. We don't know which one because they reset just before we could have seen it. Finally going up ordeals. And by ordeals, I mean Hobbs.
At this point in time, I don't know if he'll take the Porum.
I mean, a free white mage is a free white mage. But nope. Porum can stay up there.
All right, Rex Rawl just getting out of ordeals. Gonna have to go do that Twin Harp now and discover that this is more than likely a hook seed.
Simbu trying to find any way out of this being hook seed and finds King Queen Eblin instead.
Oh, that's not where you want to see King Queen Eblin. That would be, you would want to see them someplace much more difficult, simply because that is a fairly simple and fairly free fight for the most part.
It can be a little annoying depending on the flags you have.
It certainly can. All right, we see Scratch Dragon was doing a quick check for the Mist Dragon in the underwater passageway as well. And Simbu is activating their Darkness Crystal now. Maybe also looking to pick up that free character that's on the moon for them. Whereas Moonblaze Wolf looks like it's going to be the first to start heading through that hook.
A Scratch Dragon right behind Moonblaze Wolf.
Certainly makes sense to... One of the things, you might not need to do much grinding, just depending on the bosses that are in those two spots. So go down there, see what's there, and then you can make a plan based on what you need to do.
Sorcerer robes here in the Fabul armor shop. We're going to see a whole bunch of selling in order to get those.
5 sorcerer robes, and that'll be pretty much the best armor you can have for your party, unless you find adamants. Or if you want to do, a physical build, you could certainly throw a hero in robe and Zeus Gauntlet on Rydia, and just for the memes. Moonblaze Wolf is not checking any of the treasure chests, so obviously does not want to do any of the fights, and finds another Rydia, and that's a Dark Elf.
And the sad thing is, we don't really have any of the things that really truncate the Dark Elf fight, do we? Except for an Hourglass in the second phase.
Yeah, once you get to the second phase, you could certainly use an Hourglass, but you're still going to get to the second phase, which is not going to be super easy with the current party and levels you have. The underwater passageway was Millen Z, by the way, courtesy of Rex Rawl.
So if we see another Millen, it's going to be in a normal Millen with the zombies.
Ooh, Scratch Dragon finds an Avenger Sword. If only someone could use that.
Just strap it to Rosa.
Rosa's shooting swords instead of arrows. I would love to see that.
So would I.
You can certainly use the Dragon Whips on the second phase of Dark Elf for the Dark Dragon part. but typically you'll just throw an hourglass at it and you don't have to worry too much about it. All right, Simbu is now heading underground.
Those charm rods would not be a bad pickup for your Hallam and Rydia, though.
Certainly wouldn't be.
Just give their
All right.
souls that little bit of extra damage.
Moonblaze Wolf finds the format ogre chest.
Taking out the rage on one of the Rydias, missing everyone else.
Gets the hourglass off, and then probably going to set up and use the life glitch on this fight just to get that extra boost in experience.
Rex Roll giving us a late miss check.
Rextrell still hasn't gone to Twin Harp as far as I've seen as well. Really putting that off. First boss is a moon boss. Who is?
It's Plague.
Ooh.
Not the worst thing for that 30 HP Rydia in your party.
Certainly not the worst. You can manipulate it with that 30 HP Rydia, keep killing her off and bringing her back to keep resetting the count. If you want to even get cheekier, you could throw a reflect on one of your characters.
And this spot has about 6k HP, if I remember correctly.
All right, Rex Raw is checking the package.
And finds another Rydia. Just going out of their way to like avoid the hook, if at all possible.
Hook with this party is going to be pretty difficult. And Plague, you know, not the worst thing to find there, but we know Dark Elf is afterwards. And if Mist is at Kaipo, that would be just Galaxy Brain play of the week.
Let's say a rat tail. And the crystal. From that rat tail.
But this is a very, very lengthy check. Scratch Dragon definitely making use of that 30 HP Rydia, keeps killing her off, bringing her back, and just doing what they can for DPS with the Palom and Rydia.
Eventually they will get through this.
Simbu now taking on their format ogre chest, and looks like they're using an assassin knife on Palom, trying to get those swoon procs.
Ooh. And no such luck from the package, it's just Pale Dim.
That's a long check for essentially nothing.
Well, we get a Rydia. That's something, right?
I love Rydia just as much as everyone else, and I mean, most people who know me know I'm obsessed with her. But going through package for Rydia, especially when there's two much easier Rydias you can get. Moonblaze Wolf looks like they're going to start doing a little bit of grinding on some eggs in Upper Babel. And as pointed out by chat, we don't have any of the premium summons. We don't have the Bahamut and we don't have Leviathan. The strongest summon we realistically have at this point is the Sylph. And while that is a good summon, it still doesn't do the most DPS.
It does help keep the party alive, though. And we have about 2100 HP to get through. No, 21,000 HP to get through here at Rubicon Spot.
Scratch Dragon making use of those Gaia drums. Moonblaze Wolf taking on their plague fight, starting with Iridia already dead.
And a Berserk Rosa for, you know, added oomph.
Hey, if she's gonna do some decent damage with those physical attacks and can't do much else at this point, make use of Berserk. Simbu now running into their plague fight.
Dark Elf helping and unpigging Rosa.
Piggy's status is annoying, but not the worst. And Rex Raw finally realizing that unless Miss Dragon's in the Giant or on the Moon, has to do the Twin Harp.
Just putting it off as far well as you can. Well, I respect is just from what the scene was giving you was probably not in the cards.
Well, you never know. It could have paid off big time and catapulted them ahead, and that's the reason why people like to gamble. And it's called gambling for a reason. Sometimes it pays off, and sometimes you just get set behind. Scratch Dragon still trying to get through that HP for the first phase of Dark Elf. And Moonblaze Wolf going into their Dark Elf fight. Simbu finishes up Plague.
And is now awarded with their Dark Elf fight. Now, do they go straight into this or not? That's my question.
Simbu is a fantastic runner and typically does strategies that seem to pay off.
I expected them to go straight into the Dark Elf fight because I'm pretty sure Simbu has a plan.
More than likely does. Simbu's also the only one that did not grab that Porum off of Mount Hobbs. Rexral just not quite enough damage for that virus to kill off his entire party, unfortunately. Scratch Dragon finally on the second phase. There's the Hourglass.
At this point, it's just more or less a point, just bopping the Dark Elf until he dies.
And with that Dragon Whip on Rydia making pretty quick work, and Virus on Palom doing some pretty solid damage as well. And we're getting some more music hype on Rex Raw's side. Using Twin Cast and getting less damage than the virus. Moonblaze Wolf making use of that Sylph summon on Rydia.
Always helpful.
And like that, Scratch Dragon, first one to take down the Dark Elf and have access to the underground.
Well, just one of the readiest face down. It's fine. They're fine. It's fine.
I wouldn't be too surprised to see that Rydia end up being face down for the remainder of the seed and just be an agility anchor later on. Moonblaze Wolf now onto their second phase of the Dark Elf fight. And I missed it. Did Scratch Dragon take a look at the boss in Lower Babel?
I don't think so.
According to chat, it was Asura. So now that Scratch Dragon has access to the underground, where do you think they're going to go first?
My guess is to check that for. Yep, they're going straight to check the free key item down in Land of Summon Monsters.
Makes sense. It's a very easy check to make. You could also, if you wanted to, go down and peek the bosses just so you have information of who they are so that you don't have to worry about something nasty cropping up later.
And if one of them's Miss Dragon, well, yeah.
Miss Dragon in either one of those spots would be really quite painful.
Nothing in the item shop down here. Looks
Certainly
like
not.
Moonblaze Wolf is through Dark Elf, by the way.
And the Fey March was the Magma Key.
Good. Just good.
Simbu, finishing up their Dark Elf fight, now has access to the underground. Rex Raw seeing that hook, probably not too thrilled to see that at this point.
After having done everything else they possibly could. And we know the Magna Key is not cheekily hiding somewhere on the overworld. Like, say, Miss Dragon at first boss spot in Zot, no.
All right, it looks like Scratch Dragon is gonna have some omelets for a while.
Let the Marionette Rydia live, so they're going to get some levels here. Magma Key in the Underground is always, in the cards. We do have that Luca Key. Question is, who dives Sealed Cave first? Which is not going to be a fun experience for whoever does it.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone decides to save scum it.
Blaze Wolf picking up their Magma Key. Moonblaze Wolf finding out that there's literally not really anything worth writing home about here in the item shop.
Simbu has their Magma Key now. Simbu's also going to check the armor and probably weapon shops as well. Grabs a bandana. Not bad pickup. Nothing really that useful in the weapon shop. And Moonblaze Wolf starting their egg scrambling. That was a Mist Dragon.
Ooh, down here in Land of Summon Monsters.
On top of that, Scratch Dragon and Moonblaze Wolf did not take a look at those bosses. So that's information that Simbu has over his competition.
Now, which spot was Miss Dragon in?
That was Leviathan.
Oh, that's even better.
Sadly, no D-Mist at CPU, but D-Mist at Leviathan with an all-mage party is not going to be fun.
That's the sort of thing that you hope that you just get like a single adamant to make that fight bearable. Just the one adamant, please. One adamant armor.
Throw the Soak Web, do illusions. It's certainly doable. It's just going to be long.
We have cabins down here in the castle.
And just to kind of give a quick answer to Teddy Phoenix, the flags are Japanese items, spells, and abilities, and then just being able to have Rosa, Rydia, Porum, Palom, and then kind of a little bit more standard, except for the S3 flag, which you don't see as much.
Oh, wait, we do actually have access to moon veils. That's a good point Zilch brought up. That actually makes Miss Dragon free, but long.
Ooh, Moonblaze Wolf runs into Trollbez in French vanilla. I don't know. Is the magic attacks at this spot that scary?
I don't think so. I mean, the magic attack here is definitely scarier than, say, Engolbez's, vanilla spot.
According to Tifa, it's actually worse than his vanilla spot, and I believe he is correct. I know Trollbez here can be really nasty. And it looks like taking out the two white mages and Iridia, ooh, that can make it a little bit more difficult too.
Just got to get off Moonveil.
One Moonveil, and I think you'll be fine. Rex Rawl now into their format ogre fight. Hit. And he did not pick the one that was casting the Star Veil, so now he has Rydia protected.
And Golbez just doing a whole bunch of damage to himself.
Well, the nice thing about the Trollbez fight is he literally only casts magic. So once you get past that fairly annoying cutscene where he kills off potentially 3 of your party members, leaving you with only 2, a Star Veil or a Moon Veil means that you don't have much to worry about anymore.
Mm-mm. And there goes Trollbez.
I would say, judging from that damage, it's about the same as his vanilla spot. Probably a little more HP, though.
And in his vanilla spot is an octopus.
And that is our 4th Rydia of the seed.
And we're just saying goodbye to Porum on Moonblaze Wolf's side.
Scratch Dragon went down and spoke to Yang. Gonna head up to Sheila 1 now. So does Sheila 1 have the goods?
Sheila 1 has the Baron Key. That could be the goods.
Rex Rawl finishing up his format ogre fight. Simbu getting into their Trollbaz fight, and Moonblaze Wolf didn't have too much trouble with the octopus today.
The octopus not being in a fast, high attack power spot is always a good thing.
Certainly is. Octomam on some spots can just be an absolute nightmare.
Well, not
And
as
it
bad
looks like
as I would say, not as bad as say Mom Bomb. Oh, Crystal!
and
We
there's
have the Crystal. Moonblaze Wolf is in go mode.
Poor Scratch Dragon heading into the Baron Key. That is going to be a somewhat of a lengthy process, and then looting on top of that.
We're probably not going to see much else from Moonblaze Wolf besides a quick trip to the moon, probably grinding on Kane Ryu's, and then going down to say hello to Zeromus.
Does only have 8 key items though, and Rydia mages in general require quite a bit of EXP to get those final attack spells such as Nuke and White. And as Tifa's pointing out, for Rydia to get Nuke, that's going to be level 55. And it looks like Moonblaze Wolf is going to try to go grab some fairly quick key items. So going to go to Sheila 1, get that Baron key, and then possibly, I'm not sure.
Maybe decide to go through Baron to get another key item real quick.
I would think Lower Babel would be a little bit faster.
Particularly with Valvalis there in the first spot at Baron Castle, which we saw what feels like a year ago at this point.
All right, Rex Raw finally into their plague fight in Upper Babel. But it looks like Moonblaze Wolf is just going to go turn in the Sheila 1, find that Baron key. Be interesting to see what they do next.
Crystal was at Dwarf Castle. Moonblaze Wolf is in go mode. And Simbu is about to be in go mode as well.
And that means we are required to have Adult Rydia tonight, too. Required music for a hook seed into Dwarf Castle.
Moonblaze Wolf needing just one more key item to, to have their double EXP.
So, realistically, the 3 options open to them, I guess technically 4. They have the Luca key, not going to do that.
Definitely not.
Looks like they're choosing not to go for that 10th key item and heading to the moon.
I feel like if it had been something quick and easy like the rat tail, they would have gone and get a 10th key item. It wasn't. So they're just going to go straight to the moon.
That we have an evil wall sitting on the throne tonight.
It looks like Rixall is coming into their Dark Elf fight too.
Certainly is. And Simbu, now in go mode as well, gonna do that Sheila 1 check as well, and probably just like Moonblaze Wolf, trying to quickly get a 10th key item to make that grind much faster. I think when Scratch Dragon finds the crystal, they will have 10 key items, so probably have a little bit better time of having to farm them out.
Whether that will be enough to get close the gap for them or not, we don't know just yet.
It's not over until there's a bright flash on the screen and Zeromus starts melting away.
For about 10 minutes.
Looks like Moonblaze Wolf is stocking up on items and also looking for gear for his party. And there is Rydia number 5 from Baron.
I mean, we could have 5 Rydias.
Kate Sith brings up a good point. The pass is still in the item pool, and that does not count as a key item. So if that turns up in Baron, that could be interesting. No, unfortunately, we couldn't convince Tifa to roll this seed, so we had, I believe, Smapedy rolled it tonight. And Smapedy, of course, is our restreamer, and we have tracking from Atheist? Probably mispronouncing that.
And of course, we have Terasu on comms. And that's a rat tail from Baron, so that's probably going to get checked real quick by Scratch Dragon.
Ooh, that could lead him on just a long, wild goose chase, because we still don't know where that Earth Crystal is as well.
Which could lead us to another couple of Rydias.
If we end up with 7 Rydias in this seed, I'm going to be convinced that Tifa's Revenge bribed our restreamer tonight. Rex Rolf on the second phase of that Dark Elf fight.
And is through it. And that was the adamant from, well, that's kind of vanilla.
That is very vanilla.
Simbu and Moonblaze will both just deciding to grind out levels on, you know, our friends, eggs. Making themselves some omelets.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're just looking to do the grind here for a little bit, just until they get to the weak spell, and then maybe head up to the King Ryu's and make that a little bit easier to do.
I do like our party composition here. Hallam, Rydia, Rosa. There's going to be so many nukes flying at Zeromus tonight.
In all honesty, with this sort of setup, you realistically, as much as you love white mages, you realistically only want one white mage just to be focused on that Cure 4, and then the rest be black mages, so you have that insta-cast nuke to bounce off of everyone.
And that, of course, means when it comes time to pick a white mage to keep, by Porm. Poor Porm.
And it looks like Simbu checking the item shop or weapon armor shop here in Baron. Rexwell definitely validating their run.
And what, pray tell, was our temporary employment dwarf today?
Irrigation engineer, I believe is what it said.
When you live in a place that has a sea of lava, proper irrigation is very important.
Yep, irrigation engineer. Thank you, Kate Sith.
No, tonight is the Babysitter's Club flag set. Devised by the one and only Natara.
Rex Raw heading down into the Fame March. Going to be quite amused to see the Magma Key.
I'm not sure amused is the right word.
Scratch Dragon already doing their grind. Are they at 10 key items?
Let me do a quick count. One,
I count 9.
6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I count 9 as well. Wait.
No, they're at 10, so they're getting the double EXP, whereas Moonblaze Wolf and Simbu are not. So when Scratch Dragon does find the crystal, they're going to be set to go to Zeromus.
Now the question is, where do they go from here once they're finished grinding?
And we see some different strategies for this grind being set up. Simbu making use of that Dragon Whip on Rydia, and Moonblaze Wolf looks like they're making use of coffins. Scratch Dragon as well making use of the Dragon Whip, being able to now one-shot those eggs makes this grind much faster.
And it looks like everyone can start one-shotting those eggs.
Just need a few levels on Rydia, and the Dragon Whip's going to do pretty solid damage against it. Even though it's an egg, it still right now counts as a dragon enemy.
And so many omelets today. What's your favorite sort of omelet?
I like it simple with just mushrooms and cheese, maybe a little bit of green onion.
Good, good.
Dragon omelets are pretty good too, but those are kind of hard to get and where I live. Rex Raw going right after Magma Key, going straight to Dwarf Castle, going to be greatly rewarded with that crystal when they get through the Golbez and Octomon fight.
And I believe that would make Rex Raw our third featured runner to enter Go mode.
And don't forget, we have more runners running this race besides the 4 you see on stream, and we still don't have any actual finishers yet.
I am judging your omelet choices.
Eat what you like and don't shove it in my throat. Shove it down my throat.
Two Rydia survived the Golbez attack on Rex Raw's side. Just needs that Star Veil.
I'm not going to argue with Scala Kitty on that one.
No, she's right. I'm not a particularly big fan of omelets.
It looks like Simbu is now heading to the moon. Or maybe, just maybe, setting up a D-Machine grind.
Which would be interesting. In that party of like 30 Rydias.
I believe his Rydia would now know weak, so it wouldn't be too difficult to do the D-Machine grind.
But no, we're going to the moon.
So more than likely going to do the final bit of grinding on the King Ryus. It's going to be more experience than these eggs without 10 key items.
Or even with.
And it looks like Scratch Dragon is done with their grind. I saw a couple of nuke spells. Rex Raw spending the time to try to get his entire party back up, make sure everyone gets that experience.
Not a bad choice. Scratch Dragon going down to check Sealed Cave.
Well, this will be new information.
It could also be very much a rabbit hole. Walk out here with the Earth Crystal. Or the pan.
Either one would be pretty devastating.
A lot of them have used the dwarf barrel to heal.
I missed the moon character. Who was it?
I missed it too. Probably another Rydia. No, it looks like it was a Porum.
Yes, if he finds like the Kate Sith, if he finds Sand Ruby, or I would say even if you found the Pass or Legend Sword, you would just reset out and just not bother.
I mean, this ain't Forged Crystal, so that Legend Sword is a little useless. Now, they might walk out of here if it's, say, the Pink Tail, because that's a hard choice to make.
Yes, Gambit, or any sort of combination of those three to lead to the Pink Tail would be very, very cruel.
And it is the Pass. Then again, Scratch, nope, they reset out.
You already have the Darkness Crystal. It's not worth the boss fight and then getting out of there just for a pass.
And it looks like to me that we're going to have all of our featured runners in go mode here in just a moment.
Most certainly. We see Simbo now on the moon doing that King Ryu grind. And like I said, I believe his Rydia's probably have weak, if not, definitely just Berserk with the Dragon Whip. Going to be a lot more experienced than these eggs. And using the life glitch, I believe with 9 key items is 90,000 experience.
Oh, did Scratch Dragon already know that Golbez is... Apparently, they killed off 3 of their party members.
Did Scratch Dragon go into Dwarf Castle?
They might have. So in that case, them doing that is pretty smart here, so they don't have to sit through the dragon eating like 3 people and going like, I'm full. Bye, everyone.
Certainly a great idea. Thank you to our tracker. Scratch Dragon did go in and reset out after seeing that Golbez. Rex Raw going to do the Sheila 1 check as well.
Hopefully for a quick and easy key item, I'm going to find Tabariki and probably just go do the grind.
You can see the difference between the egg grind and the King Ryu grind. With that life glitch, the King Ryu is 90,000 compared to 34,000 for the eggs.
The good news is with the level requirements for Nuke on Rydia, with JS on, Rydia is going to get to HP levels she only normally dreams of.
Certainly, and for this fight, you want to try to get as much HP as possible for your party, and getting Rydia to over 2,000 or even close to 2,000 is really nice.
Scratch Dragon not even bothering with the Starveil on that Golbez there. Just bust out the nuke and goodbye Golbez.
I mean, when you have overkill and don't use it, it seems kind of foolish. But when you don't have it and you need it, you sing a different tune.
What we're saying here is always use overkill.
Yes, always use overkill. But the nice thing is Scratch Dragons already finished their grind, so when they get this crystal, they're going to rush straight to Zeromus.
Please don't nuke your calamari.
Oh no, Rexroll is, well, he's gonna get another key item from this and have 10 key items with the crystal, so he's gonna reduce his grind time.
Which will help. I believe Zimbu's on their last siren.
You can see the difference in the grinding with those 10 key items. It makes a big difference. But I'm surprised people are going... I'm surprised Rexroll is doing Baron instead of lower Babel, because you could just literally run up and do one boss instead of two. I like your thought process on don't tease the octopus, but that's Final Fantasy VI, not Final Fantasy IV.
We have nuke on Palom. That might be all that Zimbu requires.
Even just one nuke caster is enough to get through this fight. And certainly make use with Rydia in other ways. She can still cast, you know, lightning, blizzard, or fire 3.
Mm-hmm. It looks like Moonblaze Wolf has also finished her grind. Yep, that's a form.
Yeah, too late to take her.
Is the... Yes.
Oh yeah, the person who designed this seed set for this evening, Natara, is also racing this seed. Zimbu making that save before heading to Zeromus. And it looks like Zimbu is going to be the first of our featured runners tonight to get to that Zeromus fight.
And so I guess the question is, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
I know which one I want to see pop up, but Scratch Dragging not too far behind Zimbu getting to that Zeromus fight, and Moonblaze Wolf just now starting out in the Lunar Subterrane.
Well, the Lunar Core, but yeah, we're nearly there.
Meanwhile, Rexroll is trying to kill the wall that took over a kingdom.
How did no one notice the king was literally a wall? We have no idea. And now Zimbu is entering the Z fight.
Get your guesses in chat as to what's Z sprite we're going to have tonight, courtesy of Scala Kitty.
Okay, okay. I see a call for Discord miss.
I love the skilly ones as well, Scala Kitty. The crystal has been thrown.
Rexroll's checking the trash can, and we have... It's Clippy!
Ah, I have nightmares about this Z sprite, by the way.
Looks like you're fighting Zeromus. Do you want help?
Gets that Star Veil off. Not Star Veil, Silk Web.
And that is a counter nuke straight to Rydia's face.
Looks like Scratch Dragon is doing some more grinding.
They might not have their Rydias at level 55 for that very, very late nuke.
There's the first Big Bang. Rex Raw now beginning their grind with 10 key items.
That was a pretty rough Big Bang, too.
Moonblaze Wolf entering their Z fight now. And Simbu making use of those Rydias with the Fire 3 spell. Certainly not as fast casting as Nuke and not going to do as much damage, but not having to grind all the way up to level 55 to get Nuke for Rydia means getting to this fight a little bit faster, especially since Simbu never got 10 key items, so...
The reflex strats coming out. Z won't be long for this world because we're going to skip the refill, but
Care to explain skipping the refill?
well, normally Zeromus has like. Okay, so normally Zeromus has about like what is it?
Around 65,000?
Yeah, HP. However, there's a script for Zeromus where when he's like at a certain HP value, his HP will refill back to his max. So it's more like, yeah, 65 by times 2. More to the like say like 130,000 HP overall. But that refill only triggers on a direct attack on Zeromus. So, if you say, I don't know, reflect nukes off yourself, it will never ever trigger the refill script, allowing you to skip the refill and just kill Zeromus outright.
Simbu, all 3 of his Rydias are face tanking right now.
Well, you said it kinder, but yeah. We're just praying that this is a low roll Big Bang.
And that's his Rosa face tanking the ground.
Look, you gotta face tank the ground sometimes.
Certainly do. Someone's got to do it sometimes. So we can see Moonblaze Wolf does have those nukes for Rydia and gonna have a much easier time with this fight. And just the sheer extra damage has a pretty good chance of finishing this fight before Simbu.
Simbu is going to have to reapply that Star Veil because of Black Hole.
Scratch Dragon now getting into their Zeromus fight. Gonna fight the Clippiness. Both my favorite and my most despised Zeromus sprite of all.
Get that Cure 4 out. Oh, and it looks like Moonblaze Wolf has finished off Zeromus.
Moonblaze Wolf coming in first place with a time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 31 seconds. GG to Moonblaze Wolf.
GG, and let's see if he wants to hop in here. Those extra levels on Ready are making all the difference.
Simbu loves pulling out those low-level strats.
I believe we're joined by Moonblaze Wolf. GG.
Hey, thanks.
So, required music into Hook.
I mean, I think that was a really interesting seed. It really tried to kind of funnel you down that one particular path early on, and I don't know. I think there were a couple points where maybe you could have branched off and done something different, but I didn't really feel like I had a lot of options the whole way.
Well, I mean, probably the only other thing you could have done outside of Twin Harp is look for D-Mist on the moon or in the Giants, but D-Mist was in the Fame Arch, so kind of forced into that.
Yeah, so the trickiest thing for me, and I feel really bad, first of all, everybody who is watching and watched me grind eggs for 15 minutes, I'm really sorry about that. But I was stuck on 9 key items, and my 3 options were Baron Castle, where I knew Volvalis was waiting, which wouldn't have been that bad, but it would have just been kind of tedious and grindy. I knew Ashura was at the top of Lower Babel, and again, I could have probably done it, but very tedious, very grindy. And then Sealed Cave was just a little bit above my power level, so anything even remotely tough was going to be a problem. So I ended up just kind of grinding because I knew I was probably going to want to grind anyway before I tried to get my 10th key item. They were going to be long checks and the pass was still out there, so it might not have even gotten me what I wanted.
Well, the pass was at the bottom of Sealed Cave, so...
Okay.
Don't know what was at Tower, but Baron was the Rat Tail, which led to Adamant.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, at that point, all I needed was a 10th key item, but it felt like a little bit of a gamble, and I knew where all the pieces were to grind. I wish Rydia hadn't been so anemic with her Dragon Whip. I thought she was just going to be one-shotting those Dragon Eggs left and right, whoop shot. Just didn't really quite work out half the time, it seemed like.
And Scratch Dragon has come in second.
Yeah, I suspect they're gonna start coming in pretty fast and furious now. So that was good though. I enjoyed that race quite a bit.
Oh, it was a nice seed setup, having to be forced into an all-mage party. And then on top of that, you're not doing the V1 that we've been seeing a lot of. Instead, you're just looking for that crystal.
Yeah. So the funny thing about that, and I'm going to take a moment just to plug this because I know it's kind of getting plugged on the Discord anyway, but this is actually really similar to the format that we're using for the Power Up with Pride charity event race on Sunday morning / Saturday evening, depending on your time zone. Which is, the theme is Ladies Night, so it's basically this same flag set, except only Rydia, Rosa, and Porum, and it's V1 and it's T3, but aside from that, it's basically the same. And it feels very, very similar in terms of how you progress through the game, so I'll freely admit I had a lot of practice getting ready for that event that I think translated over really well to the race tonight.
Well, one of the other interesting things is Simbu was actually the first one into their Zeromus fight, and you managed to just out DPS them simply because you got your Rydias up with that nuke.
Yeah, and that's really rough with the J spells flag, because she learns it at 55, which just takes forever to get to. I actually didn't learn it on all 3 of my Rydias. I only learned it on 2 of them.
That still gave you the edge you needed.
Yeah, I wanted somebody basically throwing Silk Webs and Cure 3s anyway, so it didn't really bother me all that much.
Well, any final thoughts on this seed tonight?
Not really. Just that was definitely very fun, very skill testing. I feel like I made a lot of really small plays that hopefully kind of pushed me ahead. A couple single sirens at a few points. I actually did a quick reset out of Plague and killed one of my characters to get through that fight smoothly. Not sure if people had trouble with that, but that was kind of an awkward spot for that as well. So hopefully it was just a combination of some of those little things that let me take home the win tonight. But overall, it was just a really fun seed. Enjoyed the format, and everybody seems like they did a really good job with it. So GG's to everybody else. And I hope everybody tunes in to Power Up with Pride this weekend.
Well, GG, and thank you for letting us watch your race, and congrats on first place.
Thanks.
And, GG. And hello, Scratch Dragon.
Hello, hello, hello.
So the twin harp into hook, what was your feelings on that one?
Yeah, it was whatever. I figured I was way overdue for a hook seed. Feels like I haven't had one of those in a while, but I will say this. I am putting a do not disturb note on my door from now on, because I lost a good 30 seconds to 45 seconds dealing with some door stuff.
The random door knocking disturbances when you're trying to...
Yeah, well, I mean, no Johns. My neck got cleaned by Moonblaze Wolf this week, but well, I'll get him next week. It was a pretty stacked field today, actually.
Oh, I mean, you, Moonblaze Wolf, and Simbu all were pretty much going to Zeromus right around the same time, and basically Simbu got there first, Moonblaze just a little bit after him, and you had already, for the most part, completed your grind before you ever went to the moon. Just a little bit of touch-up grinding to get the rest of the nukes.
Simbu finally threw the Zeromus fight, taking 5th place behind Chokosura and Error.
Yeah, GG's to these guys. But this flag set was actually pretty interesting. The early on decision making that you made actually affected the entirety of the run, to be honest. It was actually pretty funny. And the only thing that threw me off a little bit was the fact that I had to nope out of Zeromus at the Dwarf Castle. I didn't really want to at the time, but with the team that I had at the moment, it was gonna take way too long.
But when you went back there, you actually got set up nicely for that Golbez fight, killing off 3 of your characters to kind of skip a good portion of that. And then because your Palom already knew nuke, well, you just overkilled away.
Right. Palom and Porum are actually really good for quick grinding because they learn nuke and white so early. I was gonna go into the Zeromus fight with just the 2 of them and not learn it on Rydia, but because I had to walk down to the moon because I checked the Luca Cave for pass, I said I might as well just do the touch-up grinding and just do it really quickly. That way I don't see more than one big bang.
Well, the nice thing was you also did have 10 key items, so that certainly made your grind much faster.
Yeah, that was one of the executive decisions I made there when I noped out of Zeromus. Or not Zeromus. I wish I could nope out of Zeromus. When I noped out of Golbez, was that I said I'll check the other things, and then if I find 10 key items before I come back, then I'll just grind and then do Golbez real quick. The one thing that I wish I didn't do was actually dive Luca Cave before checking Dwarf Castle.
Well, at least it was just the pass, and you can just reset out of it. Not really worth the time at that point.
Yep.
Paranoia, do you have any questions?
I think I'm good.
Well,
Facts.
any final thoughts on this seed tonight, Scratch Dragon?
Yeah, I'm gonna warn everyone: don't do what I did and check the pass and not check what the boss is there. That could have been Miss Dragon, and I could have blown myself up.
Well, Simbu actually checked the Fey March bosses, which one of them was Miss Dragon.
You know, I completely forgot about them because the flag is off.
Yeah, I can understand that. Normally, if I don't have to worry about going down there to see who they are and to get a key item from them, I just leave them.
Yeah. At that point, I think I might have just abandoned looking for Miss Dragon altogether if I didn't find it, since I found the magma key in the Fey Marsh anyway. So.
All right. Well, GG and thank you. GG and congrats on your second place finish. And thank you again for letting us watch your stream.
No, not a problem. Thanks for having me, guys. And to everyone out there, you should be playing this.
And now we are also joined by Simbu. GG.
Thank you.
Oh. As always, how did you feel about that twin harp into ordeals into Hook?
It wasn't too bad. I wish I had some better equipment to deal with it, but besides that, it wasn't anything too bad. I wasn't very lucky when it came to chests today.
Now, the scene was a little stingy for the mage gear tonight.
It was stingy in general for T4 standards.
I mean, there were Dragoon Spears, White Spears, X-Cows, Dragoon Armor, lots of good stuff, except for mages.
Yeah, I mean, if you had anyone else besides, the party you were going to have, you had amazing gear, but...
Yeah, I mean, those really slow hook seeds happen, and it does kind of play on your mind a little bit because you're thinking, oh man, it's the 40, 50-minute mark and I'm not underground yet. But it's just one of those instances where you have to say, everyone has to do this, calm down. It's harder on a T4 seed because you're like, oh no, someone's going to find that Bahamut summon and that adamant armor and just blitz through everything. But
I'm pretty sure Bahamut did not exist this seed.
I don't recall anyone getting a Bahamut, and I don't think anyone found an adamant armor either.
Interesting. But I mean, you have those seeds, you just have to keep going, and I mean, I think I did fairly well. I would have had a good chance at first place. It's just that I accidentally messed up my reflect strats. I got a little bit anxious in the Z fight and threw away first place, but managed to salvage it, so all good in the end.
I mean, on the restream, you were the first one into the Zeromus fight, and one of the big things that seemed to kind of determine it was Moonblaze Wolf and Scratch Dragon had some nukes on their Rydias, and that just made the fight a lot faster for them.
Yeah, my problem was I didn't have 10 key items. I was at 9, and I was worried, oh, I've got Tower, I've got Luca, I've got Baron, but if I take any of those routes and I get the pass, then I just wasted 5 minutes and I can just go in at lower levels and make things up. I just got a little antsy because I knew a black hole was coming up, and so I decided to direct nuke, hoping for the kill, because the damage should have been close. I don't know how far off I was, but damage should have been close. I got antsy, and instead of reflecting it, I went for the kill, and it wasn't it, so I had to fight out for another 10 minutes to finish the fight. But
I mean, worse things can always happen.
Yeah.
But overall, you played incredibly well tonight. And just so you know, the pass was in behind Luca Key.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard Scratch Dragon say. So it's just that I had technically, if you count Demas, I had 4 different choices, but each one of them were going to take 5+ minutes, and if you get unlucky, then ouch. I was hoping that I would have gotten either the pan or the rat tail from Sheila, but that didn't happen, so well.
Unfortunately, we don't know where the pan was, or I wasn't paying attention to see it, but rat tail was in Baron, and the rat tail led to Adamant tonight.
Okay.
But do you have any final thoughts on the seed?
No, not really. I was hesitant to go to Baron with the Valvalis there, even though it wouldn't have been that big of a problem, but it was funny that we were talking about it before the race, and then, oh, there's that Valvalis everyone said that they don't know how to kill. But other than that, just a pretty standard reflex strat seed. Kind of a slow start, nothing super.
Just kind of funneled y'all. That's really what the seed did.
Anyway, if you guys don't have any more questions, I guess I'll leave you to commentate the rest of the race.
Well, thank you for letting us watch you.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, and GG.
And during that interview, we had 2 forfeits, the Pineapple Salesman and Woo Bear. We also had Hoydrak come in 6th place with a time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 7 seconds. And of course, Rex Rawl in 7th place with a time of 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 20 seconds. And we're about to be joined by Rex Rawl for an interview.
And there he is. GG, Rex.
Hi.
How'd you... I noticed you on a very desperate Miss Dragon hunt earlier.
Yeah, well, I figured at that point, since I'd gone through everything in the overworld,
and there he is.
I might be behind in general, and so the only way that I figured I'd catch up at that point was to catch a lucky break and find the Miss Dragon hiding out at package or something like that. So,
I mean, you certainly gave the fans some stuff to talk about with that package play. It could have been, the Galaxy Brain play, and you are ahead of everyone. But in actuality, when you got to Twin Harp, you weren't too terribly far behind everyone else.
well, maybe that's just the old glass half empty side of me that shows out sometimes. But no, what I think was good was like when I went underground and I went into Dwarf and I saw Galvez as the first boss, and I just went for it instead of thinking like I don't want to fight that right now. And so at that point I was feeling pretty good. The fact that the first place happened right around the time that I was grinding, I felt pretty good about that too. So all things considered, I'm pretty happy with this run tonight.
Well, one of the big things is you managed to actually get 10 key items, whereas Moonblaze Wolf and Simbu did not. So their grind was significantly longer than yours, even though and I think it boiled down to you were more willing to go and look for that 10th key item.
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of depended on, I was hoping it would be something a little bit shorter than what I ended up doing, but I mean, still, I figured at that point, I knew I wanted to do egg grinds anyways, and at that point, the 10 key item, I figured the time that even if it was a long chain, was probably going to be shorter than just grinding the whole way. And I honestly still don't know. I've never mathed it out or anything like that.
Well, certainly. And I wouldn't count yourself short. You played incredibly well tonight, and we definitely appreciated you letting us watch your stream. Did you have any final thoughts on the seed tonight or the flags? And
Hey, I always like a hook route, so I'm glad that we got to go down that way. Even if I was hunting for something else, I'm always happy when we have to push ourselves, even if it's just a little bit. I mean, those weren't super hard bosses in the hook route this time, but I always prefer a hook route to a magma one. So that was nice. I like that.
Oh, certainly. Everyone enjoys seeing a hook route, especially when music is required before the.
Yeah, and I got to do music. I checked the employment dwarf hook route. This was like, and I did package even. So I'm glad to be someone that the fans can enjoy too.
All right. Well, GG Rex for all, and thank you again for letting us watch your stream.
You're welcome. Take care. Have a good night, everybody.
All
And-
right.
And with that, during that interview, we had a couple more finishers. Flurry 14 coming in 8th place with a time of 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 36 seconds. And Salty Fry coming in 9th place with a time of 1:49:01.
Yep, GG to both of them, but I think that will do it for us tonight. All 4 restreamed runners have finished.
So, any final thoughts on your end, Paranoia?
I just regret that this was not the Tarasu special. We did not have 5 forums the entire time.
Am I ever going to live that seed down?
No.
Well, anyways, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Special shout out, of course, to our restream runners. It's a great pleasure to be able to see them run for us and putting themselves out there for everyone to see. A gigantic thank you to Smakedy for doing the restream tonight, and of course, Atheists for doing our tracking, because sometimes we miss stuff, and our trackers, make our lives significantly easier as commentary. And I guess Natara for doing the seed for tonight, picking it out the flags, which is always great fun. And I enjoyed doing commentary with you, Paranoia.
Well, and I enjoyed having you with me, Tarasu. And just so you all know, it looks like we're going to be raiding Dusty Griff, who's doing some practice for the upcoming league.
And if you don't know who Dusty Griff is, well, he won the World Series of Free Enterprise this last April, March. So definitely stick around and check him out, and catch y'all next week for some more of our weekly races.
Good night, everyone.